Wow, Fergie. Fergie slamming those keyboards like Ronaldo
I've
was
been here for
doing
a
a
long
second
time.
ago. Yes, you were. Hey guys, welcome to our podcast where we watch all of the Marvel movies individually and then come together on a video chat to discuss it and review it. My name is Rob, and today we have a special guest with us. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, my name is Shawnette and it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
And it's great to have you with us. And I also want to introduce to you the rest of our friends.
Rinaldi.
Elise.
And I'm Fergie.
Today, we are going to talk about Captain America.
Will Captain America, a young sickly boy from Brooklyn named Steve Rogers, who has become a super soldier to defend America from not only the Nazis, but Hydra, will he succeed? You will find out in this movie as he makes key allies such as James Buchanan Barnes, aka Bucky, Agent Peggy Carter, along with a bunch of other soldiers, as they take on Johann Schmidt, the Red Skull, the leader of Hydra, as he builds a doomsday device to destroy not only the United States, but the entire world. Dun dun dun.
There it is. All right. So, what are other people saying about this movie?
All right. I found a review and it is from the New York Times. Went back to my boy AO since we all know Steve Rogers is just from Brooklyn. So, so we got to take it to New York. So here's just a little paragraph here that he writes. He says, in the meantime, this origin story, directed by Joe Johnston and starring Chris Evans as the square jawed, shield throwing, red, white, and blue captain, is pretty good fun. The succinct judgment of my 15-year-old screening buddy was quote unquote better than Thor or Green Lantern, end quote. And while that isn't saying a lot, it may be saying enough. Captain America, based on a comic book character that first appeared in Timely Comics, a precursor to Marvel in the early 1940s, the era of Batman, Superman, and other old growth popular front superheroes, has a winningly pulpy, jaunty, earnest spirit. And that's it for my man's there.
Okay, so I scoured the internet and found this review from Common Sense Media. Betsy Bosdeck says, if you crossed Raiders of the Lost Ark with Hellboy and added a dash of Pearl Harbor and director Joe Johnston's own The Rocketeer, you'd be well on your way to creating this movie. It's well-paced, patriotic World War II adventure with an undercurrent of sci-fi fantasy mysticism and a hero who's very easy to root for. Rogers, Captain America, is such a good guy, in fact, that he's sometimes a little bland. He's definitely a great role model, but you might find yourself wishing he had a bit of Wolverine or Tony Stark's snark. The movie's a little short on humor overall, actually. Captain America's ragtag team of soldiers provide most of the laughs, but they don't get all that much screen time.
Okay. Great. Well, what do we think after reading some of these reviews? And we had a chance watching it before we got online and started recording our podcast and reviews. What do we think of this movie? What grade, if we could do a letter grade, what would we give it?
Oh, we doing letter grades.
Letter grades.
Letter
Great.
grades.
I said solid C+. It was okay,
Bruh.
boring. Like my girl Betsy said, just a little bland. I 100% agree.
Fergie's being generous.
Being generous.
She's being very
Like
generous.
I said, it's
And I
a
see
World War
Shawnette
II
rolling her
movie
eyes.
that's basically already been done before. Wonder Woman does it. She does it better. And Stanley Tucci is my favorite character in the movie. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Scientists do
The
that
scientists
formula.
do.
Yeah, Broham, they got shot. Yeah.
Hashtag Tucci gang.
Toot your game, toot your game.
Ah,
What you can, what you can, what you can. That's it.
I will actually hold that man up. I didn't know his name, but yes, he was a good, yeah, he was
Hmm.
cool. It's sad that he was only there for 2 minutes, but
I'm actually interested in your review, Shawnette.
Yeah,
What did you give
Shauna,
this
how you
movie?
feeling about this? You're a
please.
oh,
special
about
guest.
the movie altogether.
Yeah, what would
Yes.
you
Yeah,
grade it?
what's your grade?
So I got the opportunity to watch it maybe 2 days ago or whatever. So I'm still coming off of my high of that movie gets a solid A plus plus plus
Yikes.
plus.
What?
Wait,
Okay,
Yes.
wait,
how many?
we
And the
going two extremes.
I was
Hold
coming
on,
off of
you
my
lost
I
What?
C
me.
gets
for
an A
that.
plus. I know
We
there's
went
no
from
nothing higher than
mediocre.
that.
We went from mediocre to this is the greatest
Yes.
movie ever
He's
made.
gonna get an A plus, yes. Because okay, you guys without comparing it to anything, it had plots, it had visuals for especially for something in a setting that was the whole time I was trying to figure out like where did these people get this? Like look at the technology. Why does his car look like that? Ain't this the 1900s? Like what? But
Oh
the
my goodness.
visuals were great. The Tesseract was beaming so anyways, so the
It
plot
was
was
beaming.
solid. You know, we
It's a
had
demon.
this great underdog. He was so strong. He was
Mm,
so little and cute. Oh my gosh. Yo, I cried for that man. They beat him up so many times. It was a
yeah,
shame. He was like, I got beat up in this corner. I got beat up in that alley. Like,
dang.
yes, but anyway, so the plot, taking the underdog and giving him an opportunity. Shout out to that man Stan Lee who saw him from a distance after he put in his six applications. Um, I do not recommend lying like how he did from six different states, but amen.
Mm-hmm.
Someone saw him and he turned out to be a great hero. And I actually also like the fact that the movie when it comes to content, I can't remember what it was rated, but I felt like they kept it classy. We didn't need anything extra or
Mm,
raunchy or what have
That's
you,
fair.
so I
mm-hmm.
respected that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Solid. Okay, so that was a solid. Like you really backed up your A plus. I'll say
Wait,
that you backed
She
it
went
up. You
in.
backed it up.
She
wait,
Yeah.
no,
went
no,
in.
no, but like,
So.
Points were made.
I mean, I heard her, but you really lost me at A, and then you added 20 pluses, and now I'm just kind of a
Because
little bit.
the performance, the man they hired him to act and the man did his job.
Listen, Chris Evans is not even the most attractive Chris in the whole Marvel universe.
Dang,
What other Chris
Like,
was
dang.
like,
there?
period.
What?
Hemsworth,
Who?
Rinaldi, this is where we back out.
Thor,
Oh,
Thor.
oh well then. Okay, that's there's
Oh,
another
wait. All right, let
that's
me
on
rate
some
it
other
A.
level, but that man, you can't. So
Ah,
you talking about looks or
hold
is you
it.
talking about the plot
Let
and the
me
graphic?
listen.
Is
I'm
we
gonna
talking
rein this
about the
in.
plot, the content, and the graphics or not?
I mean,
She's
is
like,
that
I'm not
really
even talking about all that.
okay? Is that really why you're giving it an A, or are
Yes,
we talking? Oh,
I'm telling you,
okay,
the story was on
all
point.
right.
And he
I
was
don't
the
feel
first. Them other movies didn't exist when this one first came out.
He's the first Avenger.
Yeah.
okay,
Yes, he
but
is.
like, no. You just-
Did you
Okay.
see his car? Did you see that evil man's car?
No, no, no. I get no.
That car was pretty fly.
Like, where he get that car? It was 1910, bro.
Wait,
Shauna, no,
what
Shauna, I
car?
feel
What car are you
you.
talking
I
about?
think costume design was good and the different elements, and I think that was good. But like, no,
His motorcycle, bro.
but that's not what it's about. It's
Bro,
not.
go on Craigslist and get
Did it
motorcycles.
So,
hold your attention or not? It did.
Nah.
I mean, you
You
Elise,
was
gotta.
doing
what's
something
your
else. You
grade?
wasn't paying attention.
What's your
Okay,
letter
okay,
grade,
okay.
What's
Elise?
your
My
grade,
grade, right?
Elise?
Okay, let me simmer down now. Okay, my grade. I
Simmer down. Simmer down.
Okay, I give it a C. I give it a C.
Okay.
And
Woo!
I feel you. I feel you, Sean. That the elements were there. That it set the stage for us, right? But that's about it. At that point,
Yeah.
like there wasn't anything super exciting that I felt like went on past that. Yes, I see we're in the 1940s. We're seeing his story, but it wasn't like boom pow. It was just kind of, yeah. It was just there. And
Y'all need to watch it with some surround sound because y'all bass must not have been booming. Where
Nah,
was your speakers?
no,
Where's your
nah.
sound system, bro?
yeah, yeah, I think it was just pretty standard to me. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It did kind of started off a little bit slow. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's where I will leave it for now, and then we'll guess expand a little bit more. But yeah, C is where I'm parking
All
my
right, y'all are entitled to y'all's opinions.
I think this movie is there's some really good things and some really bad things in this movie. You know, it had a little bit of everything for me. But I think for me, I just bought into Steve Rogers, his mission, and the fact that this is a period piece. This is in the 40s, and so I think if you buy into that stuff, I don't really notice the bad stuff, and we'll get into the bad stuff. Because some of the action scenes were filmed really badly. It was kind of embarrassing because it's a war movie. It's World War II, and Broham looking like he in front of a green screen is not too inspiring. But I did love Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is a guy who is he's just a nice guy. He's a great guy. He's a guy that he never gives up, and I think that helped me overcome the bad parts. And the
Mm.
fact that he had those friends that had his back and they overcame different challenges throughout the movie. So overall, I give it a B. I give it a B because I like the characters. I liked the relationships.
Fergie, you better
Uh,
hold your face, bro.
I liked. Dang, I only gave it a B. I didn't give it an A plus, like sister over there. Uh,
Nolly, wow.
but I give it a B. I give it a B. It like it's a 40s kind of old school like it's like the old Adam West Batman movie kind of thing. That's what it was. But it was done better than that because they had a bigger budget and better technology, and Chris Evans is a better actor than Adam West. So that's how I looked at it. I give it a B. It was good. It wasn't great, but it wasn't mediocre to me.
Right. Right. I thank you for that. That's solid. That's a solid review. I give it a B minus. I give this movie a B minus.
Oh,
And
no,
Fergie knows he's struggling over there.
no,
I
You
give
no.
this
guys
movie
really
a B
like this
minus.
movie, huh?
The only reason why I'm freaking out is because you just said that Fergie C plus was generous. So where did you come from with
I
that?
said Fergie's C
It's
plus
basically
is
off
generous
Fergie's
because it's
anger.
Fergie.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Fergie hates this movie.
Yeah, that's her
That's why
anger.
I said that her C plus was generous. Because she is grading it a C plus.
That's the power of
Oh,
Steve Rogers. He's so endearing. He bumped Fergie's grade to a C plus when it could have been
Okay, but
worse.
I have a question for all of you minus Shawnette, because Shawnette didn't see the other movies in the way that we saw them. Are you guys putting out your letter grade in comparison to the past movies that we've seen, or just as a movie itself?
I'm doing a little bit of both.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
And yes, this is in comparison to the other movies because this was definitely better than Hulk. And for me, a little more watchable than Thor.
Yeah, I'm with Rob.
yeah,
Wow.
It's a little more
yeah.
This is a
watchable
little
than
bit
Thor,
more
better than
watchable
Hulk.
than Thor.
You know what? I'm gonna bump mine
Thor
to a
is
C
not
plus
really.
too. Then I'm gonna bump it to a C plus.
Why? Just to spite me? Is that what
At
you're
least
doing?
doesn't want to
There
be
you go.
at least doesn't
No,
want to be the
No.
thinking
Grinch.
about it.
At least
I'm
it's
That's what
not.
I'm
like,
saying.
oh
It's
no, I'm gonna be the Grinch. Let me bump my grade up a little bit so I can be more positive out here.
yeah.
No.
I
I
think
earlier
Hulk
I
was
was
like the
bad at C
bottom of the
plus.
barrel.
Yeah. Hulk is the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hulk's
So
bottom of the barrel.
everything is like above that automatically.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Any
But
movie's better than Hulk. But Thor is good. This movie is a little bit more watchable than Thor.
I
yeah,
agree. I think it has a
you
better
think
plot too.
so? Hmm.
Yes. Yes,
That's
because
why.
this movie, I didn't feel like that this movie, and this is why I gave it a B minus, is
Yep.
because one, I like Captain America. He's not my favorite superhero. He's not my favorite out of the Avengers, but I like Captain America
Yeah.
only because and we're not gonna jump ahead or anything, but he through and through throughout this whole movie, he's had I guess, a steadfast, a steadiness about him. He's been
Mhm.
firm. He's been about a mission, and he was determined. Okay, that
Can we also say that he believes in God? Like
yeah, that too, that
he be
too.
standing up
That's
for
a rare
Jesus
that's a rare
from
thing.
beginning to the end.
Right. So that's not even in particular why I give it a B minus, but I just like the character that they did in this movie to be consistent. Like everything about this character, whether you like it or hate it, everything he does, you believe it because that kind of character would do it.
He got a heart.
Hmm.
And so
Okay.
versus like, back when we watched Hulk, it's like, okay, this character is too consistent. Why is Banner and Hulk the same person?
Yeah,
Basically.
Hmm.
it was
That's a good
hard to
point.
Yeah.
really understand him
With
in a
with
way.
this guy, with Steve Rogers, you at least get his dynamic
Yeah.
and that fact that he has conviction. That's the part I like about Steve Rogers. That's
Hmm.
my. But the other thing too, the reason why it's more watchable than Thor is because it is very consistent through and through, story
Mm.
wise. Thor's story is like 5 stories in one. It was very convoluted
Yeah.
as a
Hmm.
movie. If you ask me which movie would I prefer to watch on TN10 or TNT or TBS, it would be Captain America. I would watch that before I watch Thor.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think another issue is can you buy into the Red Skull? Because I feel like if
No.
you expect more, if you like, to me the Red Skull is a World War II villain. Like, it's very
Yeah.
cut and dry. Like, he believes he found an object of power and therefore he should use it to gain power. Like, that's it. It's not Loki. It's not, Loki a little more complex, a lot more going on. This dude, he's like the opposite of Captain America. He's consistent too. He believes that if you have power, you should use it over weaker people. And he's kind of confused why Captain America doesn't, he uses his power to help other people. He's like, me and you, we're not human beings. We're above that. So why are you going down to the level? So I like that from him, that he was consistent in his evilness.
Now my grade um is not based on like, oh, like this is that good of a movie. It's based on whether or not I'm able to watch it again and is it better
Hmm.
than the other movies. And I'm able to watch this movie again. It doesn't mean that there are flaws or there aren't flaws in this
Yeah.
movie. There are definitely flaws in this movie. Um
Dang, that many? Dang, you said it with such conviction. There are not that many flaws.
I
we'll
think
get
Thor
to
is
it.
just more entertaining as a movie. Like if I have like kids over, if I have like adults, like old people, like it's a good family sit down watch together movie.
Mhm.
Not that
Nah, bro, my
Captain
grandma
America
loved this
isn't really
movie.
that. It's just dry. It's just dry.
I
Yeah.
But I don't know.
can't
I think
do.
all of you guys mentioned about like the World War II backdrop. I'm like, if you get rid of the 40s
Mhm.
and you just focus on the story, it's so boring, and it's not
It's
even the
true.
most interesting World War II story that there is.
No, you're right. It's not. I mean, even the other movies that are based around the same period, the time period, they are better than this movie.
Yeah,
That you, yeah, I share with you on that. Like all of Wolverine's movies, every one of his
yeah.
movies that take place in that time, Wonder Woman, they all take place on the same period, and those movies are better than this one. I give those movies a much higher grade.
Hmm.
I
I'm
But
don't think
just
I'd
saying
ever
this
watch this
joint
movie again.
speaks to humanity. Not everybody can be
Yeah,
Wolverine. They took the
I'm
underdog.
just,
They hired the
I'm
right
just
character
I
curious.
to
think Shawnette.
portray
I think
him.
Shawnette bought in. She bought into his like,
His story.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
because I
He
think
didn't
that's the
like
central.
bullies.
Because Wonder Woman is a princess, so she's not no underdog. And
But she's a woman.
Wolverine, what? But she basically controls a powerful island nation that could kick anybody's butt. Broham was a sick boy from Brooklyn. Like, he had no power.
Women in World War II had no place in society.
She
true,
could
but
Even
can
if
she
I?
she
could
was this Amazonian
But
princess,
right, but
in society she wouldn't be anything.
right, but is it for Wonder Woman? That is not that much of a challenge. If it were just regular woman, probably. I
Yeah.
mean,
Regular
not even
woman.
probably.
And I'm not saying women don't have it hard and she's not a meaningful character to women.
No,
I'm not
I
saying
Right,
that.
right.
agree.
She's a meaningful character to
She
women,
flew over those
but
people and
but
put herself in the war.
she had challenges. I'm not saying she had it easy. I'm not saying that,
But
Fergie. I'm just
yeah,
comparing him to Steve Rogers. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking her
Okay.
challenges and comparing it to Steve. And some people resonated with like, man, this guy was sick. He was tiny, and
Yo,
he
he had
still kept fighting.
asthma.
That I think that.
Okay, but he didn't
He
have
had
asthma the whole
asthma.
movie,
He
though.
spoke.
He turned into a superhuman. I feel like if he was sickly the whole movie, then it might be more inspiring. But he got a super
Oh,
body.
I see.
Cheater.
So where we going next?
So I was gonna ask Fergie to share what she really does not like about this movie because I feel like out of everybody here, she definitely has. And correct me
Yeah,
if I'm wrong.
Fergie got
You
that
definitely
fire.
have the more passionate. Well, not probably not more passionate.
Yeah,
Probably
not
not more.
passionate.
But like, you really dislike this movie. I think. I think that's why I said your C plus is generous.
I'm just blown away that you guys really do like it. And I don't know. I think kind of going back to that Wonder Woman point, like, isn't he a Wonder Man? Like, doesn't he have
Not
superpowers
if his
now?
hero came first.
Not if what?
Not if his hero came first.
Okay, he's a Wonder
His
Man,
hero?
but he's still that kid from Brook. Like, okay, physically he's mature, but he ain't emotionally mature. He don't even know how to talk to women. You know how to dance.
Well, hold on. Let's back up because Fergie was sharing what
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
her thing with the movie.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said, Robert. That last thing that you said.
Well, you said yeah, he's a Wonder Man or something like that. Or no, you asked, isn't he a Wonder Man? And I was saying not if he came out first.
yeah.
No, but I think Fergie's point is that because he has the enhanced abilities, then the
Yeah,
inspirational background goes away. It
it.
doesn't matter. It's meaningless.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can see that. It's just here's the thing. It's hard to compare Wonder Woman, who was basically born with all these powers and had other challenges, but born with these powers. Yeah, it's hard to compare her, who she's an Amazon. Um, it's hard to compare her with this skinny guy who has an asthma attack every 5 minutes in Brooklyn.
And get
Okay,
jumping alleys.
yeah, and he
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 gets
got
gets
jumped in
beat
the
up.
alley.
he gets beat up. I don't think Wonder Woman grew up getting beat up. I don't think she did. I don't think she grew up being bullied or anything. Maybe she had other. I don't know. I
She
don't
had other
know.
issues.
Yeah, she had other
She
issues.
had issues,
But
but different
but my
ones.
thing but my thing is as far if we're talking about Wonder Woman, Wonder Man, all that, like he did not have that growing up. And so to give that power to somebody who is like a bully, or somebody who is I don't know, always like talking down to somebody who's hungry for power. Take Red Skull, for example. If the serum worked for him and he didn't turn into Red Skull, but he got exactly what Steve Rogers got, the world would be like demolished. But I think the point about Captain America is that he's a hero with or without the serum. The serum was supplement.
Mm. Okay, I can see that.
Wonder Woman's always had her ability and blah, but she's always had that. So
Yeah,
for her to come to Earth with that same stuff, there are challenges with that, but not as much as somebody like
as
I
a
don't know.
white male.
Yeah, as like a regular white male who's just like Steve Rogers jumping into war without his powers. That's also another commentary about like
Yo,
you
did y'all
know
see him at boot camp?
like trying to do those push-ups, trying to do
Ooh!
those push-ups.
He
Yo, my
got to
man
do
was
them from his
struggling.
knees. He got to do them from his
That was
knees. That's
me.
what he got
That's
to do.
me out there, dog. Like that. I saw myself on the screen.
Every 2 seconds, it was like, Rogers, get your gun out the mud. Rogers, get off that rope. He just couldn't do nothing right.
Yeah,
Ah.
Bad.
Rinaldi, were you saying something?
No, I was just saying I see where Fergie's coming from. I just disagree, but I see her point.
Yeah, I see your point too. Like, I can. I think it's easy to see it that way, especially since these movies have done that movie better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think this. I will say again, I gave it a B minus because it's watchable, not because it's more interesting or original than any movie we've seen. You know, it's definitely not original. Nowhere near it. I don't think it was
What
that original of
movie
story.
runs that plot?
Any World War II movie.
Hellboy, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
Pearl
I
Harbor.
see.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, all those movies kind of run the same plot. And then of course, you know, World War
Star
II.
Wars, even
Star
in a
Wars are in
way.
this. Yep. Yep. Yeah, but then you have like again going back to Wonder Woman, Wolverine. Um, isn't there another hero that does a World War II? You know, he's in the
Hellboy, is
war.
that one?
Hulk?
Hellboy.
Oh, Hellboy? No. Um,
Mm.
not
Well,
Hellboy.
I'd say Hellboy in the sense that um, it takes place in around. I think it didn't take place during World War II,
That's what I
Hellboy?
thought.
or maybe I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Well, we
Yeah,
can
I
throw
don't know
We'll
him
too
out
much
figure it
there
about
out.
because I
Hellboy.
could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. I could be 100%
What,
wrong
what
about
was that,
Hellboy.
Shawnette?
No, I said, and Hellboy plays an underdog character.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think he plays an underdog character in the movie.
Oh.
Not well. He's feared by humanity because of how he looks, and he has to prove himself that.
It's also. I think the movie also like imagine if we can talk about his character real quick. Imagine if his character uh did not rise above any um I don't know difficulties. Um what kind of first Avenger would he be? You know, because then after him, every other hero is just trying to copy him. I mean, that's why we get the Hulk. The same
Yeah,
serum that Captain America got was what
That's
they were trying
true.
to test
yeah.
for Bruce Banner, and that's why he became the Hulk. It just went wrong. Um, the red, I mean, even Red Skull, he tried that serum, didn't work for him. Um, who am I forgetting?
Blonsky, Abomination tried it and became
Oh
Abomination.
yeah.
Abomination tried it.
That's true.
Yep, Abomination tried it. Did not go well. Um, yeah, there's somebody I'm missing. Um, basically, there's been copies of. Luke Cage. Luke Cage is another example, where he's
Oh
not like a
yeah,
super
Talk
soldier.
about boring.
Well, yeah, the show's great,
Dad,
but
y'all
So
dissing my
now we
boy Luke
traveling
Cage. Anyway,
somewhere. We
but let's go back to Cap. Let's go back
yeah,
to Steve
but no,
Rogers.
just in general, just comic books in general. That like every hero that has some sort of super strength ability that because they've been tested on was because of the government agency or whoever somebody wanted to copy whatever happened to Steve Rogers and they could not replicate it, which makes
Wow.
I think this movie. That's why the movie needed to be what it was. Like I
Mhm.
don't think the focus was meant for the movie to be interesting or deep or philosophical or anything like that. I don't know how much more deeper you can get out of Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler. Like
I mean, it's pretty
um,
straightforward. This ain't like Loki.
it's very straightforward. Yeah, this is not a Thor movie.
No,
Not a Thor movie.
these guys want power, and that's it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what did we like about this movie? I shared a little bit of what I liked, but what did we like?
Stanley Tucci.
A
Stanley
Tucci
Tucci,
gang.
that's it. I mean, I like Stanley Tucci too. Stanley Tucci's that dude. I like him a lot, but dad,
Why did you like him? If you don't mind me
He's just
asking.
a great actor. Any role that he plays, he kills it,
Mhm.
in my
dang.
opinion.
So you don't even like his character per se. You just like him and his resume,
Yeah,
which is really good.
exactly.
Just
Really good
just like
resume.
how Shauna gave this an A plus plus because of Chris Evans.
Oh yeah, she
Huh?
Chris. Yeah, you gave
She's
this
like, what?
that. Chris Evans is the name of the guy who plays Captain America.
Well,
So
no, no, no. Well, no, you can't compare those two. I don't think she gave as much reasoning as I did. But what I will say about this Stanley dude is he was funny. I liked him when he was pouring out the liquor and then he was like, "Nah, you can't have none of that."
Right.
Like, and then he's like, "I'll save some for you." And then when he comes back and is like, "Oh, did you save me some?" He's like, "No, I didn't."
He's like,
You
nah, I
know,
didn't say none of it.
But
that
he
was
is
funny.
an essential character, though, in like Steve Rogers' hero journey. That if he wasn't
Hmm.
there, Steve Rogers wouldn't be
This is
Captain
true.
America.
Right, because he
You
took
can
a shot
thank
on him.
Stanley
yeah,
You know,
Tucci
so
for
He
he
Captain
showed,
didn't.
yeah,
America.
exactly.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his
Hmm.
character's name is Abraham Erskine,
Yep.
Mhm.
Doctor Erskine.
So Elise, what did you like
Mm.
about this movie?
What did I like?
Yeah.
Mm. Um, I don't know if there was anything super like out there for me that I'm like, wow, I love this. I mean, I think I appreciated Agent Carter. Um,
Facts.
just because just being a person who's like a fan of just like anime and shows and whatever, I feel like they always kind of normally there's that tendency to go for the damsel in distress, but she actually like was doing stuff. Like she was a
Hmm.
Hmm.
legitimate support character and
Mm.
wasn't somebody who just worried about the main character all the time.
Yeah.
Um
Pepper.
so yeah, I liked Carter a lot. Um I liked being able to see Howard Stark here and just how
That was
that kind of type.
crazy.
Yeah, so
Mm.
I
I
didn't
like
realize he was gonna be in there.
yeah, so I liked being able to kind of see him alive and doing things
Yeah.
and yeah, and just how he played a role in that. So yeah, so I guess but overall, I think it was yeah, I think it was good for what it was. Um yeah, I there's nothing super spectacular. I think yeah, I don't know. But those are two things I can come off
Yeah.
the top of my head about like what I appreciated about the movie.
Mm. What about you, Ronaldo? I feel like you had nothing but good things to say.
Yeah, I like the subtle commentary about like media and how media like views iconic
Mm.
figures because I like that whole sequence where he's doing those dancing shows and he's
Mm.
like punching out Hitler and because it kind of like it's almost like there's two Captain Americas in a way. There's like the image that people have of him, like
Mm.
I know in Iron Man 2, I think Coulson like that scene where with the shield, like he used the shield to prop up his machine, his device. Coulson looked
Mm.
offended. And I guess that was like
Mm.
a reference to how like, people viewed Captain America as a symbolic figure, but we get to see the real Captain America. Like he's
Mm.
someone that just wants to help. He doesn't necessarily want to punch out Hitler. He's not like this figure. He's just a regular guy that wants to help. And I feel like some people like, maybe outside of American culture, they might be cynical and kind of see all that and think he's not sincere because America at the time was trying to portray this image of strength in the
Mm.
40s. And but I like the fact that they like even the guy that his agent, like he just seemed like I don't feel like his agent was the same as the doctor. Like the doctor was like a sincere, kind man, and the agent was like, "Yo, I want to make this money, just do these shows, bang bang boom." And it's
Right.
almost like two Captain Americas. The one that's like
Mm.
people think is like the strong like one, and then there's the other one that's just like, "Hey, I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. I just want to help."
Right.
And only a handful of people got to know that one.
Hmm.
Like everyone else didn't, and that was just kind of interesting. And like I said, I like him. I don't think he's the most interesting character in the world, but I think there were some interesting things or moments
Hmm.
that he had in this film. Like interesting
Yeah.
moments, especially like that whole arc where he's trying to prove himself, but he's
Hmm.
basically a dancing monkey.
Hmm.
And also
Hmm.
like his friend. I like Bucky. I thought the scenes he had
Hmm.
with Bucky were great. I feel like the
Mm.
biggest thing is the characters, the side character. I feel like these are the best side characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
would I would say War Machine, but then we had Man, where you had two different War
Nah,
Machines, Man. Like
Main. We got
Main.
so,
my man Iron Man.
yeah. So Iron Man second. I think Cap
Yeah.
had the best side, because we don't need to talk about Thor. That was a disaster
Right.
when it came
No,
to
no, no,
side
no. Not
characters.
even. Nope.
Ooh,
Don't even
train
try.
wreck.
If I hear Mir Mir one more time, man, I'm gonna
Oh
lose
my
my
gosh.
mind. Anyway, but Bucky was a real one. Peggy was no joke. She was even trying to shoot the guy that was trying to steal the formula, and she didn't care that she was gonna get hit. So these characters were dope. So I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest strength of the movie is just the characters. Steve's little arc of trying to show that he can help. And the doctor had some moments. The colonel was really funny. He had a lot of funny one-liners.
Oh
He's
yeah.
like,
Yep. Tommy Lee
"Hey,
Jones.
I'm not kissing you."
I'm not kidding. He
Yeah, and
was.
Red
Oh, I
Skull.
loved his character.
Red Skull has some
Yes.
nice lines too here and there. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I would say the character is the biggest thing I liked.
Got you. Okay. Got you. So there's a couple things that I liked about this movie. Do you notice how like Bucky was wearing his hat like Ti, like all
Oh
like
yeah,
off
that's
his head,
true.
hanging off his head? Every time I see that scene, like I'm like, yo, like fix your hat, bro.
Is that
Fix
where
your
Ti
hat.
got it from, or did Bucky get it from Ti? Did the actor
Which
that
scene
plays
was that?
Bucky?
It's the so in the scene where Steve Rogers is getting beat up in the alley, and
Oh,
then Bucky comes up with his suit, but his hat's on like half his head. I'm like,
Yeah,
yo, like
I
you
think
watch
the
a Ti
actor,
music video? Like, is that what you did?
the actor is a Ti fan. That's probably what it is.
Nah, T.I. stole it from him.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching Bucky and Steve and that relationship and loyalty and all that. I enjoyed that a lot.
Mm,
Um, this is going to be unpopular, but I
yeah.
always liked the Red Skull reveal. I always liked that.
Yeah, that was
When I
brilliant.
first watched this movie, yeah, when I first watched this movie in the theater, um, I had a hunch, like I knew Red Skull was somewhere in there, and I knew that this character may have been him. But it's like, how is he Red Skull? Are we gonna watch him get burned or whatever, or watch him try to take the serum? But it turns out he was Red Skull the whole time, and he had his own face as the mask, um, which I thought was brilliant. I thought out of the movies that we watched, let's see, yeah, out of the movies that we watched, yeah, him being a villain was very cut and dry, but at least
Mm,
his motives seemed genuine. Like you didn't have to go like, oh, why is he trying to destroy the world? Like it makes sense for him to
He's a
be a
Nazi.
villain. He's just a Nazi, and then he splintered off Adolf Hitler's group, and started Hydra, and
mm,
that's where Hydra started, which is a whole other thing that gets into the Marvel universe. So that I like that. Let's see, there was something else. Yeah, that Red Skull reveal was probably my favorite point out of the whole movie. Nothing else
mm,
really. Um, I think this is going to be easy for people to miss, but early on when they go to the Stark Expo, and then the camera kind of pans at the audience and you see different expositions and booths and everything, you see this random mannequin wearing a red suit. I don't know if you caught that.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so that's the Human Torch. An Easter egg for the Human Torch. Not the
Yeah,
mm.
Fantastic Four Human Torch. This is before the Human
Super
Torch was
soldiers.
included in that group. Because the Human
yeah,
Torch historically started around the World War II era and all of that or whatever in the comics.
yeah,
Oh,
But that's the suit that he wore, which was a
yep,
really, really cool nod. So I like that. But outside of that, and then of course the story, I think the idea of this story is, and I think Ronaldo, you kind of hinted at it, was that he's a he keeps on saying this throughout the movie. He's like, I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. That this man is so simple, and then everybody else is trying to add stuff and make it a bigger thing than it needs to be. And the whole movie, it's always been about, no, this is the mission. No, this is this is all I'm about. This is the only thing that matters. He's all about the simple things. And the fact that the world that he's living in, much like the world we live in today, tries to make complicated things that are meant to be simple, I think that says a lot about his character. Um, that throughout the movie, he's just, like, I want to be a soldier, but they're putting me on stage. I want to be a soldier, but they have me doing X, Y, and Z. I just want to win the war. But now they're after this weird magical box thing. Um, I like the fact that this is a guy who sees things in a very simple manner. Um, Not always the right way to see things, but I like the way that is how he's choosing to see it, and not get caught up in the convoluted mess that the world that he lived in was getting caught up in.
I'm
Mm.
actually surprised that that's what America wanted. Like, I get the fact that the war was really bad and the people needed hope and whatnot, but
Hmm.
I'm like, I know y'all didn't start this secret society of super soldiers just to make him dance on stage. Like,
Hmm.
Hmm.
I didn't get that. I think I
Yep.
was really
Yeah.
disappointed in that.
because
And then,
he's still a kid. He's not like an experienced. They wanted to get an experienced soldier of the formula, but they blew up the machine, so they couldn't recreate it. So they were stuck
but
with some kid.
still, like, you have this, they didn't train him. Like, I just felt like they didn't put him to good use. Instead,
Hmm.
they put him on stage and taught him how to dance, and I just thought that was ridiculous. Like, people are dying, bring him out there. Like, what would have happened had the plot gone the other way, where he didn't have that determination to run off and go save his friends? You know what I mean? Like, where would that war had would have gone? Like, I just feel like New York and Chicago and Boston all would have got blew up, like, had he not run off.
But the thing
That's
is,
a good
Hydra
point.
had an army, like hundreds and hundreds of soldiers with weapons that blow people up in 2 seconds into
But
dust.
did you
So
see
to
Red
them,
Skull
it's
was
like,
he saw him once and was just like, "Oh, our
Yeah.
people are outmatched."
No.
Like,
Yep.
you know?
yeah, but they didn't know Red Skull would think that way, because remember, Red Skull has an image too. He has this image of like, oh, I'm powerful, I'm not afraid of anything. In reality, he is afraid. But
Mm,
the general, the colonel, he didn't know all that. So that's
Right.
kind of the brilliance of the movie. It's like, okay, Rogers is he's kind of this larger than life figure, but he's really a simple guy. And then Red
Hmm.
Skull's this
mm,
like monster, but in reality, he's just a guy that's afraid, but he wants power. Like, he's not really this unbeatable monster. But that's what they thought. But
Right.
yeah,
yeah, I saw some serious jealousy bouncing off of him.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
of
make you
course,
better,
Right. And then he said
yeah,
nothing, and he just just
he got.
backhanded him real quick. He got so mad at that answer. He was like, "Really?"
Mm.
He's like, Captain, you still think of yourself as a simple soldier, but you are God, and unlike you, I embrace that proudly. And then he's like,
right.
then why are you running? he just said them in one line.
He was
I
out of
will.
there so quick. But I just
Because
feel
he
like
thought.
even the soldiers, no one appreciated him with
Yeah, that's
Mm.
true. That's true. I
most of the
liked.
people.
I felt bad for him.
Well, I kind of agree with you, Rob, with Red Skull. Like, um, just he's probably not the best villain, but like you said, his motives and his intention are very clear, and it's purely evil. And like, not even 10 minutes into the movie, he's killing someone and just
Hmm.
getting what he wants,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
like forsaking everything else. So I enjoyed his part and his presence in the movie,
Hmm.
but the final scene with
Yeah.
him and Cap was stupid.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't
What?
know. I don't
Yo,
know.
you bugging? Oh man,
Wait.
I
What
love
did you
that
enjoy
scene.
about?
Oh, they didn't hold hands this time. They didn't hold each other's throats.
Oh,
Bag.
No, maybe they did. That's why Rinaldi likes it.
no, it's not that. It's just there was a lot of. Actually, that scene's way better than the Vanko one, because there's a lot of movement. Like, he's shooting at him and he's ducking, and he's trying to get close to him, and man, I don't even want to get into it because
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
think
The
for me,
went
just
far.
all of the phase one like endings just kind of fell flat. I think
yeah.
that's what I'm realizing now. Like I
Yeah.
have all this anticipation for it, but
they were on
once
a
it comes,
plane.
it's
It was about
just
to
Okay.
crash.
eh, eh.
But
Oh man.
like I wanted Cap to be able to like end Red Skull, and it was like the
Yeah,
Tesseract was like, "Bruh, we taking you." Like,
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
no, like wait, like because you remember how like Cap was at the table, Carter comes in, and like you know how he's grieving and he's trying to cope with Bucky's death, and he's saying, "Man, I can't get drunk." And in that scene, he's talking about, "Yeah, I just want all of them gone." He finally,
Mm.
like, instead he would, he kind of shifted very slightly from like, "Oh, let's just protect people," to like, "All right, let's just the whole army gotta pay now." So I was looking
Yeah.
for the fulfillment. Like, yes, I wanted to see him do
Oh,
it.
I
It
see.
should have been
And
a
the
bigger fight.
Tesseract said, "Nope,
Yeah,
skip."
I
And I was
for
see.
like,
sure.
dang.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it from that perspective.
No, I agree. And also, I think he should have hopped out of the plane. I don't think he should have stayed in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
the
it,
part I didn't
Fergie.
like.
Didn't
I
you
didn't like
didn't you
that
say
part.
that same thing? Like, why did he stay in the plane? Why couldn't he just
Yeah.
hop out?
Bust the window,
Yeah,
eject,
Yeah,
he
I
has
whatever.
to
did.
like
Inject.
just
Something.
eject those
Yeah,
Tito.
yeah. All right, why don't we talk about the stuff we didn't like? Because I definitely did not like that at all. Like, I'm like,
Oh, we didn't talk about that
he's just
yet.
staying in the plane. He's like, I don't want to step on your. And then it cuts out, and I'm like, dude, you could have just finished that sentence by hopping out that plane, and you would have been on time for
Mm.
your date, brother. Because telling
Yo,
Samuel
seriously.
Jackson,
Oh.
telling Nick Fury, hey, I'm late for my date. I had a date. It's like, well, you would have been on time. You hopped out the plane. Unless you want to dance with Nick Fury.
Mm.
Dag.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he
anything
deserved to
else?
die.
Anything else that we dis? Well, Fergie's ready to go. She got a list.
She is over it.
Some of the action scenes were horrible. Like the montage was
I agree.
awful. Man, that montage was trash. It looked like the dancing monkey show he was doing when they weren't
Oh,
using him to fight. It's like, what? This is World War II? This looked like a commercial for, like, I don't know, like State Farm. It don't look like World War II.
You said State Farm? Is that what
That's
I
what it
heard?
looked like. Yeah.
there were some scenes. I think once Steve went through the procedure and he like busted out of the laboratory and started running. I'm like, why is he running like that? It was just so awkward for me. And it reminded me of this video I saw on Twitter. It's like these stick figures like running and they're like flailing their arms and like they can't run or stand upright.
Wait,
I'll have
which
to send you
scene
guys
was
the link,
that?
but I was
It was right when
dying
he transformed and
in
the
my
and
head.
the
Okay,
Nazi guy was running away and he was trying to catch him.
yeah.
Oh.
It was like a
No,
little
those people were
humanoid like
stupid. All
action
of them should have
figure.
got shot. All of them.
Wait,
I don't
Oh
know.
who?
my gosh, that
And everyone
woman
has
who her little
dying.
boy got stolen. You saw gunshots and things like that, and you let your child be in the middle of the road? Nope.
At least he can swim.
I know, right?
That's
Right,
true.
you
That's
did
true.
say
Get
that.
him! I can swim.
I can swim. I don't know why Stanley Tucci's character didn't duck. Like he could have just ducked. He was like looking around like, what's going on?
That's true.
Bang bang bang. I'm like, what?
I'm watching what Fergie was talking about. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, he was running weird.
Which
I'll give you
part?
that.
Google AI that taught itself how to run and walk.
Oh gosh, that's
Crazy.
Dang.
hilarious. Look at these legs.
That's how he's running. That's how Calvin's running.
No, but it's like this one. These pair of legs are struggling over the. Okay, I'm sorry. Get off track.
What?
Yo, I didn't like how the Howling Commandos had less to do than the Warriors 3. That was, man, I was not happy about that. These
Oh,
jokers
don't get
had
me
like
started, bro.
2 lines. Like, they didn't even have exposition. At least the Warriors 3 had exposition of like, hey, remember that time? I do remember that time, Thor, we fought those Dark Elves and Venom Hind Realm.
I
They didn't
don't
even get to
remember.
do
I didn't see
that.
that movie.
They didn't even get to do that in Captain America. His friends, they didn't even get to say anything like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's even worse. That's not good. And they were funny. I mean, the 2 or 3 lines they had, 2 3 lines they had were funny.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
Just only had 2 of them.
Yeah. I don't. Because like this was the origin story. I don't think that they were trying to build anything off of these guys. You okay there, Fergie?
Yeah. What happened?
I'm
Are
Don't
you
worry about
sorry.
it.
rewinding to that running part?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So tell me, what scene was that?
Like right as he transformed into Captain America and he started running on the street.
Oh
Yeah,
my
he was
goodness.
running on the
Yo.
sidewalk,
Barefoot.
barefoot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was crazy. Hmm.
he was
Hold up,
running
hold
really
up.
awkwardly.
Oh, man.
Yo, I'm watching it right now. Yo,
Right?
That's how
why
it
are his legs like that?
It keeps dying.
is.
It's termination.
Dang,
He doesn't
that
make
was
it.
good.
Oh, sorry, guys.
But yeah, he's
So,
running like an AI robot.
yeah, he did run like an AI robot. Just a little bit. So I don't know if we have anything else to share. Is it time for that segment?
I
Oh,
think it
wait, you
is.
know what?
Oh,
So
snap,
nobody,
Elise.
okay, wait. So nobody's gonna talk about the prosthetics of Red Skull. I felt like at some points, I don't know, around the eyebrows, it looked like it reminded me of red Play-Doh. I'm sorry, I couldn't keep my mind off of it. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's just me,
you can
but
see where they did their makeup. Yeah.
yeah, and I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of like a bad job. Like
Mm-hmm.
He looked
overall,
like
the idea was great, but in certain scenes, I was just they closed up on him when he was talking, like before he like hit Steve to ask him, "Oh, what's so special about you?" or whatever. I could just see, and I'm like, "Oh man!"
Oh yeah, when you're up close.
So
Dang.
that job,
I agree with you. There were some points I'm like, he looks like a less intimidating Voldemort, like just
Yeah,
a red Voldemort. I'm like,
yeah.
Ooh,
Dang.
that's not
I'm
good.
not here
Ooh,
for that.
that's gonna hurt your street cred, Mr. Red Skull.
Also, the last thing that I didn't like is that I felt like a lot of the sets were like just fake looking, or it reminded me of Star Wars too. I'm like,
Mm,
what movie am I watching?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
mm.
I can see
Yep.
that.
But yeah, but that was really all that came to mind. I was like, "So we're just not gonna talk about this, huh? Like we're not gonna act like we're gonna act like this
Act
man
like
looks like Play-Doh in some of these."
Mm-mm.
That Play-Doh.
Yeah,
Play-Doh.
it's a little bit
All right.
interesting.
Well, Shawnette, prepare yourself because we are about to start our segment, Rinaldi, which is called.
A little R
R and
and R.
R.
He knows.
I know she knows. I know she knows. But get
Oh,
ready.
he
Get
scared
ready.
me.
Yeah, it scared me too. You know how you're the first to try something new, or you're trying something that nobody's ever done before. You're bound to make mistakes. You're bound to miss the mark. You're gonna find things to improve on later on. This was the first Avenger, but this movie seems to be the first of a lot of things. It seems like this movie was the first to do CGI. It seemed like this movie was the first to do montages. I know you've seen the montage with him going to each Hydra camp and destroying them. I still can't believe how fake that looked. What about the montage where he's doing the musical with the dancers? I remember seeing this in the theater and I was cringing so hard. I cringed so hard it gave me Spider-Man 3 PTSD. This movie had some potential for a Captain America origin story. But all in all, what happened is that this movie looked like it was rushed. To shoehorn certain themes, certain scenes, and certain characters just to get this movie out of the way and to move on to Avengers.
Rinaldi's face.
The
So
gasp.
this movie is a lot of things. Much like Steve Rogers, Captain America is many things. Many people have different views about this man, this super soldier. But if you knew the real Steve Rogers, the one that Peggy Carter fell in love with, then maybe this movie can warm your heart, in spite of its many flaws. Because much like this movie, Steve Rogers has his own flaws. For one thing, he does not know what fondue means. That it's actually just a dish that rich people typically eat for fun. and Howard Stark is very rich. So therefore, he did not need to worry about him and Peggy fonduing, air quotes. They were simply colleagues, in that Peggy actually did appreciate Steve Rogers' kind-hearted, sincere nature, and did want to date him. Steve Rogers can be naive at times, and so is this film's director. He can also be naive at times. He believes that montages of epic World War II battles are a great way to move to the next act in a story. He believes that action scenes that would make the 1966 Adam West Batman look something epic like Dark Knight would make sense. No, these were bad choices. But despite that, this movie does win over my heart. Through Steve Rogers' character, through his heroism, and his relationship with his friends. So it helps me ignore those poorly filmed scenes and that poorly used CGI. And that's all that matters. This movie is like that kid from Brooklyn. It may be flawed, but it overcomes its flaws to inspire many.
You know, I agree with all that. I'm not even gonna fight with all that. I think that with all the good things that happened in this movie, if you can find them, um, I honestly think that this movie suffers from being rushed. It looks like it was rushed.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, okay.
Eyeballs open.
Like, cause like, yeah, he's like, it suffers. No,
Rushed.
I think the movie was rushed. I think because they
All 2
Especially
just
towards
hours.
the end.
yeah, because they were
Dang,
trying to
y'all
rush
no, that
production.
ending, I like that ending, man. Y'all
No, no, no,
minus
no,
But
no,
they
no,
could have
minus
no.
put
him
more
minus him
into it.
staying on the plane. We're taking out
No,
him
I didn't
staying on
say
the
it was
plane.
bad.
I'm
I'm
saying
just
the
saying they could have added
up
more.
up to up to staying on the plane. I thought the ending was good.
Well, maybe back in 2010 when this movie came out, the world wasn't ready for 3.5 hour long movies. You know,
There it
they
is.
Well,
had
this
to
movie
cut it
was
one
barely
way or the
two
other.
hours. This is true. But no, I don't think it was a matter of shortening the movie. I think it was they were trying to rush to Avengers.
It's
They
possible.
wanted to.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean,
That makes
I'm
sense.
actually positive that that's what they were doing
They knew
I
it
because
wasn't
see.
good.
yeah, because they weren't banking on
So,
this movie to like be like Iron Man. I think they were like we need to introduce Captain America for us to care about him a little bit in Avengers.
Mm.
They did
Um,
that with another movie.
So did they succeed? Does this movie make you care about Captain America prior to watching Avengers?
Prior to watching Avengers,
Yes.
well, Shanae cares about him.
Yep.
I
Okay.
mean,
I
I,
think the world cares about that man.
you know what?
I don't know.
I,
Some people didn't.
hey, I care about Cap because again, it wasn't so much. So I think I liked his character, right? He's an upright dude. He's trying to protect people. He really wants to do what's right. So yeah, I have no issue with that. So I think I cared about him because I like his character from that standpoint, just the integrity of his character. But it's the movie itself where I was kind of like, okay, it's here. And I would watch it again, but it's here. But it's like, so I nothing, so yeah, yeah, I have nothing. Steve Rogers is great. I care about him you know, if they made the movie and he just died in Avengers 1 or whatever, I would be sad about
Hmm.
that. So yes.
Yeah, I was also gonna say, I think maybe what my issue with this is that I don't really care for origin stories a whole lot. I feel like they're all kind of the same, like
Hmm.
a scrappy individual who may or may not have lost their parents or had a rough upbringing, overcoming adversity and being great. So I think just that whole formula for me isn't just that interesting.
Hmm.
Although I did enjoy Iron Man 1. So I don't know. I feel like I didn't really care too much about him, but I'm still a Captain America fan. I just don't like this movie.
Yeah. I think what this movie did that was different than Thor and Iron Man, I don't know if you noticed, but this movie tends to it doesn't start in the middle of it. It starts kind of in the beginning
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
of his journey, where Thor and Iron Man, they don't really start like they don't start Tony Stark when he's like 17 with his dad. Like he's in the middle of handling business and in a truck with soldiers. Um, Thor is working out stuff with his father um, in capturing the throne or whatever it is, or inheriting the throne. Um, Captain America doesn't start that way. Captain America starts
Oh, and
like,
Hulk, same thing with Hulk. We really start in the middle with him. We really start in the middle with
Oh,
him.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I feel like
we don't know where we
he really
started.
started in the middle. Yeah, like, but yeah, with Captain America, I feel like that they decided to start him not when he was born, but when when his decision point of I want to join the army,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
which is where his story picks up. Not in the middle of it, not when he's about to take the serum, not you know, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they start his story in a way that's predictable.
I don't know. Would you guys change any characters or any plot points or change the ending to make it better?
I just think it needs to be shot better. I mean, that's just shot better. Maybe I feel like there's some scenes you could cut out, but I'm trying to think. Um, Maybe just make it longer. It wasn't that long. It was only an hour and 50 minutes.
It was like
Maybe,
2 hours, right?
no, it was a little. It
Yeah.
was under it. You could add 20 minutes, I think, to give um, more character depth. You know,
Or instead of
and shoot
making
it
it
better.
more than instead of making it more than 2 hours, maybe making it Captain America Part 2 versus going into the Winter Soldier, what have you. Like, I feel like they could have probably dragged it out and ended it where he wanted to get his revenge on Red Skull and maybe made that whole fighting piece like a lot better, show they could have dragged out the part where they went and tackled all six or however many bases there were. That could have been a whole nother movie. Those side
Yeah, that's true.
characters could have got
Yeah,
more
but they don't
play.
have the time because Avengers is right after this movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
I hear
so
you,
Yeah.
but ain't nothing wrong with a part two.
listen,
Yeah.
so I think you could still do that in part one. Shawnette, I had the exact same idea, but to have that happen in part one, I think the montages is what kept it under 2 hours.
Mhm.
They felt like it was important to show us this, but even after we show us 2 minutes of him blowing stuff up at certain Hydra camps, we don't care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
I feel like the montage with him in the musical thing, I thought that was fine. Keep that the way it is. There's no reason
They
to
should have
draw that
shortened
out.
that. They should have
It
shortened
was
it. I think that should have been shortened by
I
25%.
I I I personally don't like that scene, but I know what they were trying to do with that scene, especially the way it transitions to him doing the same thing in front of real soldiers.
Mhm.
Um, I like that. So I think that maybe yeah, if you can shorten it, then do it. But I think the montage where they're taking over Hydra camps, that shouldn't have been a montage. That should have been half the movie.
Why don't
Yeah.
why don't we okay, now I think based on what you said I'm starting to come up with some. So
Yeah, it would have been better.
why don't we start the movie outside of like why don't we how about this? So the movie credits roll and you know we see Peggy Carter looking at a map and it's a bunch of different Hydra camps and like specifications and she's looking at footage of and it's like actually well shot footage because like I said if we're doing this exercise everything's shot twice 10 times better than what we actually got, so it's well shot footage of Captain America doing doing different things and but it's we're seeing it from her perspective and she's like studying things out and then she walks out and addresses all the whole unit of soldiers and she says, okay, I think I know how we can storm the last base. And then she leads him and Cap lead a bunch of people to this base and there's a battle but then Cap gets separated from everybody. Like there's a big explosion. He gets separated. That may seem a little redundant with Iron Man, but I don't know. I think maybe starting off with action and then going back to when he was that kid in Brooklyn and then building back up to, this one big battle at this, and like maybe this base is a fundamental part of Red Skull's, because I feel like Red Skull's plan should have been more specific anyway. So maybe this base, I don't know, maybe it makes a machine that mechanical part that he needs for his ship. And like there's like strategy, there's war strategy, there's planning, there's
Mhm.
build up, there's okay, you need to go here and you guys need to go up top and shoot with sniper rifle, and you can sneak in. I don't know. Like there's like a mission that's going
So
taking place to
yeah,
kick off
I
the movie.
agree. I don't think that that should happen right in the start of the movie, but I think that scene and or elements of that scene can really help bring the movie to a place where it is like entertaining fully. I like the way this movie starts though. With wait, how does it start specifically? I know we see Red
It
Skull.
actually started with the crash site, which is
Yeah.
this is
Mhm.
the
That's
first
right.
time I
That's
caught it.
right.
The first time I watched it, I never saw that, and then I
Yeah,
was like, "What is that?"
yeah.
That was the plane.
So
Mhm.
I like the way they did that right in the beginning. I thought that introduction was perfect. What I think they should have done going forward was start the movie not so much with I mean you keep the crash site, you keep the Red Skull scene, you keep certain elements of the beginning, but at some point early on the war has to happen. The war needs to be going on. But probably we don't want to first see the final Hydra site because we want to see it leading up to it. Why is Red Skull actually afraid of Captain America? We want to see Captain America actually take down these sites.
Hmm.
But as that's going on, we cut back to the origin story.
Oh, I
You
see.
save time. You save
Yeah,
all that whole 40, 45 whole hour where he's like we see him as a young boy or not a young boy, but we see him as skinny and whatever weak. We see him training, then he gets the serum. I think you cut all of that stuff, not all of that stuff, but you include all that stuff throughout the movie
Mhm.
as well
in
as
little
we see him
pockets.
fighting. Yes,
It's
little
like little
pockets.
pockets.
Because
So maybe certain, like maybe him and Bucky are trapped, and he's like, "Yeah, remember back in that alleyway," and then you cut back to the alleyway scene
Right.
where
well, yeah,
Bucky.
well you also don't want to spoon feed people.
Oh yeah,
Um
Yeah.
you want to make it more subtle than
you
that.
want to I think the perfect segue, let's take that scene for example. The perfect segue would probably be, when like okay, Cap lost Bucky, okay, at the train. Lost Bucky. The next scene, we get Tommy Lee Jones interrogating our guy, I
Dr.
forget his name,
Zola.
Dr. Sola, interrogating him. And then after that, we get a cutscene where Steve Rogers is skinny in an alleyway, and Bucky comes, punches the guy, and then after that whole scene's over, we cut to the future ish, where Captain America is drinking until he's drunk
Mm.
and he can't get drunk. I think you write the
Oh,
movie
I
that way.
see.
You
That's how
write
you
the
do it.
movie that way.
Some
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's
flashbacks, but at the
yeah,
right time.
Yeah.
exactly. It's got to be pointed because the one thing that I feel like this movie was missing, um, maybe we don't care about the character of Captain America, but again, why is Red Skull afraid of Captain America? And
yeah,
why should we feel excited that he is a part of Avengers? We got to watch this man fight.
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah,
We got to
Mm.
watch this man fight. And we see him like real quick, like before he gets captured. And it was some good stuff. But imagine
yeah,
if we saw like different parts of him fighting throughout them taking over the Hydra camps.
yeah.
Then he
Yeah.
shows up in Avengers and he's like, oh boy, this is huge.
Oh
Mhm.
snap, he's here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So I think this movie lacked like good action. It had a lot of explosive
Yeah.
action, but it lacked good action.
yeah,
And what
Mm.
if that was done on purpose? What if they didn't want to see how good he was? They wanted him to be like that surprise feature in the Avengers. Like,
nah,
I don't know,
nah.
I'm
I'm
just
with
playing
Rob.
with their
I'm with
thought
Rob.
I think
process.
it's
It's
too
rushed.
late.
I'm with Rob.
No, no,
It's
I'm
rushed.
saying like what were they
Oh,
thinking when they made that decision? Like what if they wanted to keep him as some surprise person? I don't know.
I like your little, like, tweak on that. I think for me, it would be interesting if maybe somewhere near the middle of the movie, Red Skull, like, either captures or kills Peggy.
Oh,
Um,
Nah,
Dad,
yo,
she
you bugging.
I think it'll make a more compelling story and, like, give into that, okay, he needs to be angrier, he needs to, like he's gonna kill this bad guy because he got his woman. But then, later on, you could possibly introduce alternate timelines, including that, but, like, it gives him more of a reason to, like,
Yeah.
kill Nazis, kill Red Skulls, like, because I don't know, I feel like you guys think he's interesting, that's great,
I don't think he's that interesting.
so right,
I
you don't
interesting.
stop. But you think the girl love over the
wait a minute,
friendship
but
is
he.
more
But I
Oh
compelling?
yeah,
also
let
think
her finish.
you play up the romance a little bit too. Like you go into that, oh, the backdrop is World War II. There's a war going on, but they want to be in love. They want to get married. They want to do this. They have a plan for their lives, but she gets captured and killed or whatever. And so, in his like anger, and like heart and love to marry this woman, he
Mm.
like wants to get his like payback or whatever. And then you can play up him being a good fighter and skilled and all of that.
Hmm.
Then I feel like that would have been the typical way to go
Yeah,
about it.
well, almost. It depends. I agree. That would be typical, but it all depends on how Chris Evans delivers the
Yeah,
acting.
Mm.
yeah,
Hmm.
You know, his reaction to losing both Bucky and
mhm,
Peggy.
yep,
Like, I can just picture him like he's at the liquor thing or whatever, and maybe somebody else, one of the guys who joins him in maybe one of them come and console him, and he's lost it. He's throwing bottles, like he's calm at the
yeah,
beginning, but whatever bottle he's drinking, he takes it, he throws it, and he's just upset. He loses it. He's not drunk, but he's fed up. That is not what we've seen out of Captain America. He's been
yeah,
very composed, and it
Hmm.
lacks reason to why he's even doing this. You
exactly,
know, so
exactly.
I think it does need a push over the edge on top of
Hmm.
the good morals and just to see justice done.
Right,
And I feel like that adds more reason to him wanting to fight Red Skull and destroy everyone
yeah,
in Hydra. He even says that in the movie. He goes, "My mission now is to destroy
Right, that's what I
everybody in
was
Hydra."
talking about.
Yeah.
and it makes Red Skull even more just
But
villainous.
then that would go against what Elise said about the whole finally a woman who's not a damsel in distress. He would have been chasing her the whole time.
She's still strong.
Yeah, no, no, she could get captured and still not be a damsel in distress to some degree. Because how do I explain this? So the thing is that throughout the movie, she's done
Mhm,
something. She's taken a gun, she shot somebody, she's done things, so you can kind of see her as a soldier, how she works. And so her getting captured is probably just like, oh man,
right,
she met her match, she got overpowered by somebody. You know what I mean? But I think with
Hmm.
typical damsels in distress that you see in
yep,
other action things, it's just like
mhm.
they just are
They're
weak and they're
flailing
just like they
around.
can't fight back and they just get captured and they're
Love
just
fighting.
like, oh hero, save me. With so you know what I mean? So it's more
Hmm.
it lies
Yeah,
in the personality,
yep,
I think.
Yeah.
So this was a way to yeah, so like what Fergie's saying, if it did hypothetically go that way, she could still
yeah,
maintain that strength that I love, but
yeah.
also like, it'd be that catalyst
Yep.
for Cap.
And I think that makes her even more interesting too because she's a tough cookie basically. I think even if she's captured, I can see her punching her captors. I
Mhm.
can see her trying to steal a gun, trying to escape,
Right.
like
She will
really
fight to the
work
death.
for it. And so I think that'll be
Yeah.
interesting and even make her more of an endearing character. Not that she isn't already, but it's like, okay, this chick is tough.
Yeah. I think actually Rinaldi, you had a thought and I want to follow up with that. What were you gonna say, Rinaldi?
I think the solution would be to have her infiltrate the base and try to avoid capture and get a signal out saying, "Yo, I'm avoiding these guys, but I don't know how long I can hold out," and they can't capture her
Hmm.
because then you get the best of both worlds. You get her being competent and effective, but then you also get the tension on top of that, and you get Steve Rogers getting frustrated and really like getting fired up.
Hmm.
So you get all three. because I feel like if you just have her punch 3 or 4 dudes and then get captured, to me it just like to me it does it means
Then you
nothing.
kill
To
her.
me, it's the same as just getting captured and saying, "Oh no."
I have an idea.
Like I'd rather her infiltrate the base, get some files, and then she's trying to like kind of like a spy, like Jason Bourne, like kind of like that.
So
And
I have
Cap
an
has to
idea.
get her out.
So I think you're onto something. I think you know how throughout the movie, Tommy Lee Jones gets these false reports of like, okay, not even a report. They don't hear back, and he just assumes they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what if in your scene there, Rinaldi, what if her and like a whole squadron of soldiers infiltrate a base, okay, and she gets captured along with all these other soldiers, and word does not get out like it has been throughout the whole movie.
Okay.
Steve, and then it's reported via Tommy Lee Jones. He just assumes, okay, no word in 3 days, she's dead. Steve hears about that, and then he ends up in the
Mm.
bar because now he just lost his
Mm.
best friend, and he thinks Peggy's dead. Because I know
Hmm.
Peggy,
I prefer that method.
yeah. Because I know that the Peggy's going to be used in future like MCU installments and all that stuff, so she's needed. Um, but I think that's how you implement your idea there, Rinaldi. It exercises Hydra's and Red Skull's like limit. Like they don't care. They just don't care
Mm.
who gets in their way.
Mhm.
And it introduces vulnerability in both
Mm-hmm.
strong characters. Steve is strong, and there's vulnerability. Peggy's strong, and finally some vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
That's what helps us fall in love with these characters is
Mm.
vulnerability, and these
I
characters have
agree.
not experienced true vulnerability in this movie.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if both of those people die, the whole audience is walking out. That's all I'm saying.
But I
That's not
think
necessarily true.
it like draws you in
We can
because there's
only
a
take
second
one
and a
death.
third. You know what I mean? Like there's more movies, so it's like okay, she's dead, but is she dead? Like what's gonna happen in the other movie?
No, no, no. If you play it Rob's way, where we just think that she's dead and y'all about to revive her, then that's all right. But if y'all kill both those
Mm.
people and make that poor Steve
Yeah,
suffer,
Yeah.
I'm
and
walking
it's
out of
and it's
there,
fine.
and I'm taking the whole theater with
And
me.
then you know what you do then is that even after like later on in the movie, Steve and he takes his friends and he takes all the soldiers.
Hmm.
They infiltrate the base. You get that final fight, and all that stuff, but you don't see Peggy, right? And then he lands the plane, and there's no dialogue and blah blah, and whatever. And then he wakes up, and remember when he wakes up,
Yeah.
and the woman who walks in the room looks like Peggy.
Yeah, she
You
does.
play
Feel
on
Yeah.
that a
like
little
it.
bit. You play on that a little bit.
Ah.
Like that
No.
you know what I mean? Um and then he doesn't say like, when he sees Nick Fury, he doesn't say like, "Oh, I had a date." Like that, just throw that out the window.
Mm.
I know. I
Um
hated that line. I
Yeah.
didn't like
Bro.
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
That line
Yeah,
was
it
really
yeah.
was
bad.
I know it was like
Yeah.
playing on a
That
love
was
Someone
thing, but
needs
if you
to
really want to play
die.
on this love thing and like hold at heart,
yeah.
someone needs to die.
Let them
Someone needs
get,
to die.
yeah.
Um
Yeah.
Just not her.
yeah, yeah, no, you keep her alive.
Or Bucky.
Well, then, I mean,
Oh
we're not going
man.
to jump ahead, but
Mm.
we
My
know
back,
that
Bucky.
we know that they're really
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
one truly dies in these movies. No one
Right.
truly dies in these
For real,
movies.
for real.
So final question of the podcast is, so if there was one singular advice, like moral advice, that each of these our 4 characters that we've gotten to know throughout this podcast up to this point, what would it be, and would you follow it? Like if each of these characters were on the podcast and they were like, like let's say, for this is a silly example, but Tony Stark's like, "Hey guys, always eat your vegetables." Would you vibe with that, or would you not? Like, what do you think each of these characters, like singular, like motto, I guess, their motto, their mantra,
Oh,
their
what's their
moral?
motto?
Yeah, if they had one, and would you vibe with
Oh,
it?
I see.
So Hulk,
I
Thor,
see.
Iron Man, Captain America,
Hmm.
based on what we've seen in these movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first.
That's
Yeah,
So,
deep.
give us an
so I
example.
think Captain. I'll go in order. So I think Iron Man's conviction is there's always a solution to every problem if you apply your mind. I think Hulk's conviction is as long as you can trust one person, things might turn out better. I think Thor's conviction is a king isn't someone who's powerful, a king is someone who's responsible. And I think Cap's conviction is you have to do what's right even though it's hard. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go with Iron Man. I think there is a solution to every problem if you apply your mind. I actually like that belief that he has. Like if you apply your mind to something, because he was in that cave and he was outgunned by with 30 terrorists, and he just treated it like a math problem to build the suit to escape. So I'm gonna go with him.
I could vibe with that.
Wow. I don't know if I can come up with one for each of them.
I can come up with a few. Let's see. It seems like Hulk's mantra is don't express yourself.
Oh yeah. Don't express yourself.
Smash.
Hulk smash, yes. It's Hulk smash. Don't express yourself. Because if
Hulk
you do,
smash.
Hulk smash. uh Iron Man's mantra is I like what you said, Rinaldi, about putting your mind to it, but it seems like Iron Man's mantra is go with your gut.
Okay.
Um Thor's mantra is I'm having trouble with this one
Give me a horse.
yeah, I need a horse. He needs a horse. That's his mantra. He just needs a horse. And then Captain America, I would say, yeah, just do the right thing. And out of all that, I mean, figure it out. But so I side more with I side more with Captain America, because if you take that mantra and apply it to any one of these heroes, that right thing could change. That right thing could mean something different. And the right thing is not always, in fact, it's almost never easy. And sometimes it's just the right thing, even though like there either might be casualties, there might be people who are upset or angry or whatever, but the right thing is the right thing at the end of the day.
Okay. For the Hulk, I'm always angry. Classic. Iron Man, with great wealth comes great responsibility.
Dang.
Thor, even kings have flaws. And for Cap, I have life, liberty, and the pursuit of justice.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
What? Wow, how'd you
Fergie's
come
on
up with
point.
that so quick?
So which one's your favorite?
Which one of your favorite, Fergie?
That was like
I think Iron Man, just because he's so charismatic. He's a little slow to like learning the lessons that he needs to learn, but when he learns it, he's in
yeah.
it and he's mission focused. So yeah, Tony.
wow. Guys, I don't even know. What would I say? I guess for Thor, it would probably at this point be somewhere along the lines of like a king is not above
There
his
you go.
subjects. And that, yeah, just about like the kingdom comprising of everyone together. So just that equality. Um, let's see who else here for Cap. Um, always protect your friends, always do what's better, like for think about what the betterment of others, and always make that choice or that decision. I think for Iron Man, I feel like there's Yeah, I would say something like nothing is impossible. It's just that you have to
Hmm.
discover thing you have to discover it.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
But the truth or like that it's out there, you know. And who did I miss? Oh, I'm missing
Oh
Hulk.
boy.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Hulk. Did he have a mantra
Ready.
according to that movie? Who knows?
Yeah, if you trust one person, everything can be okay. He trusted Betty. We just didn't care about her. But he trusted her.
I guess for him it's um protect
Yep.
myself.
Hmm.
Whatever
Hmm.
I can do to protect myself, avoid confrontation, avoid everything. I just need to make sure that I'm
That's good.
good.
Live holistically. That's that's it.
Do Tai Chi. Do Tai Chi in
um
Brazil.
and with and the one that I like, I mean, I feel like I kind of like everybody's but Hulk. Um but I guess if
Hmm.
I were to choose one, if I were to choose a top one, I don't even know. Honestly, somewhere between Thor and Iron Man. Yeah, because I like the whole idea of discovery and putting pieces together that the earth provides or even creating something new. Um, but then I also like the idea of like equality and there's no like I'm not better than you and you're not better than me. Like we can all teach each other sort of thing. So I don't know. I can't choose which one between the two, but based off how I view life and my personality, I think I'm a mix of both of those mantras.
All right. So that's it.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, that's our review on Captain America, the first Avenger. What are we watching next? Next time we get together, what are we reviewing?
Avengers.
We are the Avengers.
Yeah, that's
Assemble.
right. The main event.
The main
That's true.
event. The
End
main
of phase
event.
one.
What we've been waiting for.
So next time that we get together and do a review, we will be talking about The Avengers. This movie did a lot when it released in theaters. This movie really changed how movie directors and movie studios did movies. So I'm excited to get together with everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.